Okay, so you might get a little message to say you're recording. I'm recording. If you don't want to be recorded, please leave the meeting. So hopefully you won't do that. But back to sharing. Okay. So anyhow, here I am stuck in my inbox, and it's got a bunch of garbage in it, as you can see. So let me get this little box out of the way here. Alrighty. So the first video, which was let me see, which one was that? Maybe it was this girl here. So she's kind of all over the place, but she has some good stuff in here. And by the way, whenever you're in YouTube and you see a video you want to watch, look for this little more button. And if you click that, sometimes they put in a little timeline. So I'm going to pass up on all of her happy, bubbly hoo-ha and go directly into how to change the Gmail view. All right, so let me know if you cannot hear her audio.
So the products I reference in this video for your convenience. The first thing we're going to do is change the view on our inbox from categories to the inbox view. The default email accounts is to have a primary, promotions, and updates tab. What I've done is I go over here on the right to settings and I click the little wheel. Go down to settings. From this page, you're going to want to go from general labels to inbox. Go ahead and click inbox and you'll see inbox type. I want to try to have the unread first option and scroll to the bottom and click save changes. This allows me to know what are the brand new emails that I've just received without them getting lost in all of the others. The second thing we need.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that and go back and show you, because since that video was done, Gmail has made some changes. Of course they have, right? So if I go over here to what she said, and hopefully you can see my mouse moving around. Okay, so if I click on the little gearbox or the little gear symbol up here, that's the settings. And now these days they have a little quick settings thing here, but let's just go to the main settings and go to see all settings. Now it looks a little bit like what she was telling us about. And if I go to inbox, this is what we see from her, what she showed us. And if I click on here, I'm going to go unread first. And now I'm going to go back to my inbox. Oh, first of all, I have to save changes. Okay. And then if I go back to my inbox, I've lost those three things across the top I was showing you. They're still over here, but they're no longer at the top. But what has happened is everything that was in these is now in the main inbox. And if you'll notice, from the 20 emails that I had in my inbox, now it shows 205, which is still way too many to have in there. I hope you'll agree with me on that, because it's hard to find what I'm looking for. When I look at all this stuff, there's a lot of garbage in there. So I'm going to go back to the video, and let me get this person in. Okay, so now,
Gary, can you do that one more time? I've got to the settings, and then once you're in the settings, where do you go?
Okay, let me go back into my inbox, and I go to settings, and see, you might see this kind of a thing, but right here it says see all settings. I want this particular screen. Okay, can you see that one, Amy? On yours? Okay, so then I click on inbox, and inbox type. Yours probably is checked by default. So if I click on unread first, like I have, and then go to the bottom and hit save change. I made no changes, so they won't be lit up. But if I do that, then everything is in the inbox. If I went back to it, just to show you what the value of that is, if I go back to here, to inbox, and change this type to default, and then save changes, you can see now my inbox only says 18. It doesn't show these others in the inbox. Okay, I don't like Google's selections in here. I don't like what they put in there. I'd rather have everything in the inbox and then let me make the selections on what to do with it. So I'm going to go back and change that back, because this is the way I want to keep it. Go to inbox and change this to unread, save changes. Okay, so now I'm back here to a full inbox worth of junk. The Google stuff is still here. I mean, they're still going to sort it, but it's also putting it here. It doesn't remove it from one place or the other. It just gives it different, it puts the label on it of different places. If I don't want to see that, I can just click this little arrow here and it hides them. So the next thing I want to do is make sure I can see my spam. Because if you can't see your spam folder, then you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't have a spam folder. Yeah, actually you do. So if I go to filters and blocked access, oh no, wait a minute, that's not the right one. Labels. Okay, so go to settings, the gearbox, and then go to labels. And if you can see here, it says, here's the spam folder. And right now I'm showing mine as to show it. If I click hide, you'll notice that spam disappeared from over here, which is probably the way you have it in yours. But if I come back down to spam and do show, now here it is again. Why is this important for you to see your spam folder? Well, I'll tell you, the reason is sometimes Google doesn't get it right. And maybe an email from a prospective client or your client or from me or Julie or Skyslope or whatever ends up in spam. If you don't check your spam folder on a regular basis, you might find that there's stuff in there that you need. So you have to be able to see it in order to check it. So this is why this is important to do that. Any questions about that? Okay. Alrighty, so back to the videos. Let me find which one it is. There we go. All right, so we're going to start her up again.
Need to do is clean out the clutter in our inbox. We're going to be doing that by unsubscribing, archiving and deleting, and using the filters to set up. Let's go ahead and get started with unsubscribing. To unsubscribe from an email, simply select the email, and Gmail is smart enough to recognize where the unsubscribe link is at the bottom of the email. Simply click unsubscribe and press the blue button to confirm. Some emails, though, don't have that nifty unsubscribe button at the top. When that happens, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you need to look for the words that say unsubscribe from this list. Most times when you unsubscribe from an email, it'll take 5 to 7 days for it to come off of the marketer's list. Sometimes marketers try and get a little shisty with you. If you don't see the word unsubscribe down below, look in the really fine text. Oftentimes they try and keep the colors the same so that people are more unlikely to find the button and unsubscribe. Don't give up. You can find it and it's worth your time, I promise. Let's talk.
Okay, so I'm going to stop her for a minute. We'll go back to my inbox and we'll find something that I want to unsubscribe from. And this red alert news looks to me like, I don't know who that is and why I'm getting it. But if I open it up, and here's the unsubscribe button that she talked about. So it's right there. And I click that. I say unsubscribe. And now it tells me down here at the bottom that I've unsubscribed from that mailing list. Yay. Okay. So if I had something else, and by the way, I did not take it out of here. It's still in the inbox right now because it's been delivered to me. But I'll get rid of that later. If I wanted to find another, here we have another news ready thing. Let's see. That has an unsubscribe button. But if I look down here, there it's also here. Commercial email has to have an unsubscribe method. So if you're getting commercial email from lists, go to the bottom and look. Like she said, it might be in some really fine print. It might not be blue. It might not be underlined, but it has to be there. So, you can do that with it as well. And now I have my email set up to not show images. If I wanted to see them, I can click that. Now I can see there was a picture there that I didn't know about. So again, interesting stuff from Gmail that maybe you didn't know it was there. Let me see, here we go. And I guess this is her right here. Alrighty, let's see what else she has.
Talk about what the difference is between archiving and deleting. Deleting is your trash. And if you delete something, that's where it'll go. When you archive something in Gmail, what you're doing is you're still holding on to it. Think of the archive button as your file cabinet that you keep in your closet. Put it away and you forget about it. Now the magic's going to happen where we set up the filters in our Gmail. Organizing your Gmail with filters and labels should definitely...
Okay, we'll stop her again. Now, archive email goes into a special folder called All Email, and it's going to be down here somewhere, Archive Folio. This is where everything I archive goes in here. It doesn't get deleted. But if I send something to the trash can, it sits here just like the regular trash can on your computer until you empty it. And once you empty the trash can, it is gone forever. So archive gets it out of the daily labeled stuff here and puts it in a special folder. You might want to go back and look in there for something later. I oftentimes do use that for things that I know I'll need later on, like warranty information or something I don't need right away, but I'll probably need it 6 months from now. So I archive things. But if I literally don't need something, I don't want it sitting around. I want to send it off to the trash can and be done with it. So I go back to my inbox and say, gee, I don't want anything from here. I'm going to double click on it here. And I can do a couple of things. I can drag it over to the trash can, or I can use this icon right here that says delete. So it's right near the top of the message. And now it goes into the trash can. And if I open up trash, there it is. And if I click this box and click this button here, delete forever, it's gone. Okay, so I'll never be able to get that back. If I go into my inbox and I can see here's this other message from them, if I click on that, it's already, set up for unsubscribing, but I just don't want to have it around. I'm going to hit delete, and it moved to the trash. If I go here, delete forever. Now, if I want to archive something, that's a different game. So I'll go back to my inbox and say this email from KCM is worth keeping. And so what I want to do with that is mark as read, snooze, move to labels, and there it is. These buttons up here, it's hard to remember what they do. If you just mouse over them, you'll see that there's a spot. It'll pop up and tell you what it is. So if I click archive, that's now gone to my archive. And if I say, oh, I didn't mean to do that, I can click the undo button. It's not lost. It's still around. And let me see where that is. And oh, I know what I can do. I could search for it if I wanted to find it out of the archive. There is a search box up here. And if I go KCM and search older items, there it is. So just I don't have to look for a folder. I can just do a search for it up here and find it. So far so good. Archive versus delete. Okay. We'll bring her back.
Be done after you go through and delete, archive, and unsubscribe from your emails. Filtering and labels is where you're actually going to hold on to the emails that you see as important. Here's how it works for me. At the end of the day, when I'm looking at 100 brand new emails, it's very easy to get overwhelmed on which ones I should delete and which ones I shouldn't. But now I'm left with a plethora of emails that still are disorganized. So what I do is I have Google organize them as soon as they hit my inbox. Now we're looking at the left-hand bar of Gmail. We can see inbox with 2 unread emails, as well as sent, scheduled, draft, and others. We can also see these colored labels that I've created with numbers next to them. These numbers to the right of them tell me how many unread emails there are within that label. And whenever I get time or I want to go back and look at, say, real estate emails, I know that I've got 13 new emails that I can check out quickly, delete, or archive when I'm done. Here are some emails from Southwest Airlines. I like to make sure that I look at them because often they have really great flight deals, but I don't need to see them every single day. So what I can do is I can click on any of these emails. I'm actually going to highlight this email right here. Now you can highlight the entire email or you can highlight just the domain. Just like at most businesses, the first part before the @ is often someone's name, and then the part after the @ is the domain that pertains to just that business. If you only select the end portion of that email when you create these filters, you're guaranteed to get every email from that company, assuming they're using the same domain, instead of just the emails from Kathy. And I'm going to click the Show Search Options up here in the Gmail toolbar. Where it says From is where I'm going to paste that portion that I copied. See that button down here that says Create Filter? I'm going to click.
Sorry about the ads.
If you want to ace your paper, download Grammarly. Are you?
Click Skip the Inbox. This makes it so I will never see it in my unread inbox ever. It will go straight to this folder. What I am going to click is Apply the Label and click Choose Label. You can either choose a label you already have or create a new one. Call it Airlines. I create it, and now it's there. The last thing I'm going to do is at the very bottom, click Also Apply Filter to Matching Conversations. What that means is any email that has this ending domain is going to be put into this folder. And now, I create filter. And now we can see over on the left that the airlines label has been made. If I want to add a color to it, I can click Label Color. I can see that every single Southwest email that I have has now been moved to this section. And when I go to my email in the Everything Else category, there are no longer any emails in here from Southwest Airlines that have that same domain. I do see one here from Southwest Airlines that is different because it's an itinerary. I'm going to follow that same procedure
of highlighting everything from the @ to the end, click the arrow down, paste it in the From, and create filter. I am skipping the inbox, applying the label, only now I choose the label that's already there. I am not creating a new one because I've already done that. I apply the filter to one matching conversation, and it is now created. We can go into the airline, and we can see again that everything is in there. And when we go to the inbox, no longer are there any Southwest emails in my Everything Else.
So now you need to go through and do this with every email that you have in your inbox. And yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why she decided to speed up the sound, but I guess that she thought it was cute. At any rate, so to follow through with what she did, just so you can see me do it as well, I'm going to pick Brad's Deals and as the email to start with. And I'm looking at this, and I want to make sure I display the images so I can see what's in there. And if I go up here to, I can see that I can filter messages like these. Now, anything that comes from Shop at Brad's Deals is already starting up a filter creating thing here. So I'm going to say, I want to create a filter because it's going to be anything from shop at bradsdeals.com. I'm going to create the filter, and I'm going to skip the inbox like she said, and I'm going to apply the label, and I have to choose a label. I don't have a label for Brad's Deals, so I'm going to make one, and it says Brad's Deals, and I'm going to say create, and I'm also going to apply this filter to the 16 matching messages that are in my inbox, and lo and behold, now I have them moved off to Brad's Deals, and they're not over here in the inbox anymore. So now this one, that just took its time to catch up with it. I thought it might have been something with a different address. Alrighty, so now I've got some stuff in here, like this Boost Mobile. I don't know why I get that. This one looks clearly like spam. And let's see if there's anything else that looks clearly like spam. I don't need anything from Kellogg's. This looks like spam. This is definitely spam. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go across here, and I can report this as spam. And report and unsubscribe. And so 5 conversations marked as spam. We're attempting to take you out of that, because sometimes the spammers don't follow the rules. So out it goes. So now I'm down to 184 in here. Google Alerts is something that I follow, so I'd like to put that somewhere where it's easy for me to see. So I'm going to open that email up, display the images, and I'm going to go up here and create a filter. Oh, it's over here. Filter messages like these. And okay, I didn't copy the address, so I'm going to back out of here for a minute and do it right. So come in here and copy this one. I want the whole email address because I don't want just the last part of it. I get everything from Google that way. So I'm going to go copy, and then I'm going to go up here and oops. Google Alerts, create a new one, create that. So now I have those conversations here, but I haven't created a filter yet. Right now, if I go back to my inbox, I can see that Google Alerts should still be there, but they didn't put a filter on them. Yep. So put a filter on it. Filter messages like these. Paste. And create a filter. Skip the inbox. And we're going to apply the label. Choose the label. Google Alerts. Also apply it, create the filter. Okay, so now if I go back to my inbox, I'm down to 183 in the inbox. I haven't lost the Brad's deals, and I haven't lost the Google Alerts. You can see that there is 10 in Google Alerts and there's 13 here, but they're no longer in the inbox. So the idea is to go through your inbox and move things to where they belong. In other words, some of these things don't require me to take immediate action. You may have noticed that there's a ton of stuff coming about Camp Lejeune, drinking water. You see it on the television all the time. It affects anybody who served in the Marine Corps at Camp Lejeune during a certain period of time, and their families and things of that nature. But you know, even though I was there during that time, I haven't caught any of those diseases. So to me, this stuff is spam. So I'm going to get rid of that as well. Report as spam and mark that spam. So that's good. Alrighty, so they're moved out of here. Now this easy WordPress, that's an important one because that tells me, this is an automated thing I have set up on my blog to make sure I stay up to date on the latest software on it. So I should probably put that somewhere just so I can check on it later. So I'm going to open it up and not okay, yeah, it's not spam and it's not phishing. And so I'm going to be good with that. Anyhow, I'm going to filter messages like these, and I'm going to create a filter, skip the inbox, apply the label. I don't have a label for it, so I'm going to call it new label. I'm just going to call this one blog update, blog software updates. So you can make labels on to say anything you want that makes sense to you. And also apply filter. So now that's done. That's out of the inbox. So, you know, slowly but surely, I'm going to be removing things and getting them out of the way. Let's see here. I think I put I got rid of Red Alert News, but I didn't delete it from the inbox. So I'm going to just trash that out of there. And Wirecutter, that is an interesting website. They find some different shopping things for you. I don't really care to see all that. So I'm going to take this, copying the address, go up to the three dots, filter messages. I can see the address is already put in there. I'm going to go create a filter, skip the inbox, and I'm going to choose a label. I'm going to call it Wirecutter because I like to look at them when I have absolutely nothing else to do. Helps me spend my money. Okay, apply filter, create a filter. So that's done. So the inbox keeps going down as we go through this. Now, maybe
Jerry?
there's something in here
Jerry?
that's kind of important and I should really be notified that it's there, like these blog software updates. If I go to my list of labels and I see these 3 dots and I click on it, I can change the color so that it shows up as a red. Now I can see right here that this is now a red label. It's kind of hard to see there, but you can see it. I can also go into, and let's go into here and pick out something else that looks important. Nothing really looks important, but I'm going to fake something. So we'll take this guy here, and we'll take this guy, and we'll do copy. And we'll go up here and create a filter. And I'm going to call this one. And I'm not going to click skip the inbox for this purpose. I'll show you why in a minute. And then I'm going to apply a label. I'm going to call this one Warrior. And I'm going to do create. And I'm going to apply it to those messages and say create a filter. Now if I go back to the inbox, I should still see my Warrior stuff around, and here it is. But now I can see there's a label here. Well, that's interesting. So if I take that label, and it's over here on the left-hand side, if I go to Warrior and change this label color, we'll make that one red also. And then go back to my inbox. Watch what that did. Now I can see the stuff is still sitting in my inbox, but I've given it a colored label so it really pops. Now, why would I do that? What might be important enough to stay in the inbox, but also be with a colored label on it? Well, that might be something from your clients. It might be something from SkySlope related to your listing or your transaction. You might want to create a label for Julie and have her pop up like that. So, I mean, there's, you know, I've got the stuff still in the inbox, and it's also over here. I can find it there, but it now shows up really big time in my inbox. So I'm going to, you know, stop for just a second and say, any questions so far that you really would like me to answer? So unmute yourself and go ahead and ask.
Yeah, Jerry,
Or
it's
is
Jackie.
everybody like totally like, what the heck is he talking about?
Can you hear me, Jerry?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. That's Jackie. If you just wanted to just delete something where you didn't want to label it and everything, would you just, you know, check all the ones you delete and then just go to delete somewhere?
Yes, exactly. So you could do that. And see this box, you know, right here to the left of everything? That's where you would check it.
Right, that's what
So
I
you could
thought.
come along here and you could go.
So you haven't deleted anything yet, really?
I haven't really done that, but I
Okay.
could do this. So I could just come along here.
But then again, if you have 1,000, over 1,000,
Yeah.
I do. There's I mean, I once did it a few years ago, and then I just gave up because they ask for years, and there's a whole thing, and then it deleted a bunch at a time.
Yes, you can do it that way as well. You know, you can go up into the search box up here and type in older than.
Oh, okay, older than, and then just delete, and it would do it.
Yep. And then, you know, you can come in here and say older than. You get to put that and then put in 180D. Yeah, older than 180 days right here.
Okay. All right.
And I don't have anything older than 180 days, but if you
Oh.
did, they'd all be here. And then you could grab this box And that would select them all. Then you could click the delete.
Select. And delete would be in the
ones
trash.
Yeah, that would be the trash, or you could archive them too.
Oh, okay.
You know, whichever floats your boat. So, I mean, my older than 180 days was too long for my example here. So I'm going to say 30D and search for results older than 30 days. Geez, I really don't have anything to show you like that. I think I've gotten them rid. But if I go in here, maybe 10B. Oh, how about if I get into the inbox and do it? So maybe that was.
Older than.
Nope. Nope. So I don't have anything that I can show you with mine, but you clearly do with yours. You know?
Right.
And
180.
But so here is, this is clearly spam. That my U.S. fund of $8.5 million, all I need to do is respond and they'll send me the money. So
Right.
Not going to do that. Report as spam. And this car insurance, I've been getting a lot of those lately. I'm just going to mark it as spam. And credit center is spam.
So if you mark it as spam, if it ever comes in again, it'll come in as spam.
It'll go into the spam box. And actually what's happened is all that stuff is still in spam. My spam folder. Everything I just marked.
But if you wanted to just get rid of it, you'd just go
I would just click the box right up here. Okay.
Okay.
And then I would click delete forever.
Okay.
But if I mark it as spam first, that tells Google that the next time the same people send me something, they'll put it right in the spam folder. So then I don't have to worry about going to find it. It's automatically going to be there. But I should look in spam, maybe not every day, but if I'm expecting an email and it doesn't show up, maybe the spam folder is the place to look.
Right.
And while I'm in there, I might as well get rid of everything that's there that I don't need. It makes it easier the next time you have to go in if you don't have to wade through a bunch of garbage.
Right.
So, but those are the things that I think that really are kind of important to know about Gmail. How to make labels and how to filter things so that it gets the unimportant stuff out of the inbox and over here to where you can look at it later at your leisure. Like, I know if I had some time, I might go into Brad's deals and start going through these and seeing what's happening here. So here's a couple of Brad's deals that were in the trash bin, because I trashed them earlier. And if I go and just pick a bunch of these, and then just go up here and go trash. Okay, so off they go. Now if I go back into my trash folder, they're all still there. So I can, bring things back out of the trash if I want. Say I didn't want this Red Alert News to go out as trash or be spam. I can mark it as unread, and then I can come back into here again and pick it up and go. By the way, this snooze button here is interesting. I can tell it to Gmail to bring this email back to me in a certain period of time. I don't want to see it today, but I want to see it tomorrow. And if I do that, when does it snooze to? I can snooze it till the weekend, or I can pick my own date and time. I want to see it on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Now it's gone, but it'll show back up again on Tuesday because I told it to do that. That might be useful if you really wanted to not file something away, but have it come back when you think you're going to have more time to look at it. I can also take something and drag it out of the folder and put it in the inbox. So now the Red Alert News is going to be back in here again. So if I put something into spam, I don't have anything in there right now. Let me put something into spam. Oh, here's another Camp Lejeune thing. So I'm going to report it as spam. Now, if I go back in my spam folder and say, oh, wait a minute, that shouldn't be spam after all, I can just drag it over to the inbox and drop it. Now it's back in the inbox. So things that you do over here aren't permanent unless you want them to be. You can easily move stuff around. So,
Jerry, can you speak to best practices in terms of transactions? We're saving all our email in SkySlope, but then I have separate labels on my Gmail also, and that's filling up my email. Should those all be archived in separate folders, or what's your recommendation on that?
well, have you already put them into SkySlope? It's the first question. Okay, so you're including the SkySlope email address on your transactional emails?
I'm forwarding them into there. Yes.
You're forwarding them into, okay. So you really shouldn't be saving them at all, just from a legal viewpoint. Because if you get sued and they find out that you have stored emails relative to the transaction, under the rules of discovery, they could subpoena all of your emails and sift through them to find out if you are hiding something. So the best practice is really not to do it, not to save any paper stuff, not to save emails or text messages or things like that, but we all do it. So I would have a separate label for each transaction, and as they come in, I could set a filter up for it based on the subject line, because if I set up a filter, for instance, if I just go, we're going to take this guy here, for instance, right here, and I want to, create a filter for it, filter messages. I can filter not only from who it's from, but who it's sent to. I can filter on subject lines. I can have the words, it might be like, the words might be somewhere in the email, John and Mary Smith, or pool repairs, or something like that. And I can include the ones that have attachments or not. So my filters don't have to just be based on email addresses, but my labels can be anything. So, I might have a label for each transaction. Does that make any sense?
It does. You think it should be in actual labels or within archive instead?
I would put it labels, because if you're going to save it, you want to be able to find it. And, again, if I archive it, I would have to do a search to find it. But if I have it as a label, I can go in here and I can see them.
It's just adding to my count of emails, because it's obviously in there.
Well, you can mark them all as read too. For instance, this number here is just unreads. Okay. Now down here, this number is the one to watch out for. It's telling me I've used 0.5 gigabyte, and I have a total of 15 gigabytes to use. So basically, I have 14.5 gigabytes. My my Gmail account's pretty empty, but yours may start to fill up over time. And again, as long as those emails are in SkySlope, you have access to them.
Sure.
So not necessary to save them on your own. And there is an element of risk. If it's, the clients that's suing you can prove that you received an email, but it's not in SkySlope, then they're going to want to subpoena your emails. And then they'll get everything, even things that's not related to them. So, definitely something to think about.
No, that's good to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm very risk adverse. I think Julie's less risk averse than I am, but just my years of experience have told me that stuff that seems inconsequential sometimes isn't. So things like this, I kind of say like, I don't want to save any of that. So that's up to you what you want to do. But let me jump back up here, unless there's another question from somebody. Anybody else got something they want to ask? Alrighty. I don't want to keep you too long, but I want to go and talk about one of these emails, or excuse me, one of these videos that I think is really kind of an important one to watch, and that's this one here. And if I go back into Gmail here, let me see where it was. This one. Okay, so here's the Tuesday tip email I sent out. This is the email or the video I think that you really should watch on your own. This guy is very slow, very patient. Again, it was made when before Google made some changes, but if you look around, you'll find what he's talking about. Nothing that he talks about has been removed from Gmail. It just might be in a different place or look a little differently. But if you have the time, I would suggest watching that video, and I'll show you. This is it right here. It's only, no, this is the wrong one. Let me go here. Yeah, this one's only 13 minutes long, but this guy is very, very patient in the way he
So
describes
many
it.
messages in your inbox. Are you suffering from inbox overload? Well, today I want to show you how to use filters within Gmail. So number one, you don't receive quite so many emails right here in your inbox. And number two, so that you can easily find special or emails that are important to you.
So, I mean, it may seem a little elementary, but he goes through it at a slow enough pace that you can pause it while you're working on your own. Just kind of like I did, go back and forth with it. And again, under more, here, he gives you timestamps where you can find, how to do a certain thing, understanding filter choices, how to add Gmail labels, and so forth. So he does a pretty good job. The third one, where I mentioned that the guy uses some profanity, yeah, he does. And he flies through it, and maybe this is more of maybe that's the way you want to go. When you get to about this point in the video, he's done. Now the rest of the time he's trying to sell you something he's doing. So just, it's not really going to take 8 minutes to go through his. But it goes through the same stuff. But 3 different approaches on basically what we've just talked about. Now, I just want to offer to you again, if you would like to sit down with me and we do this together, I'm happy to do that with you. And it really should be a face-to-face meeting with your laptop or whatever. If you don't have a laptop, but we can log in using one of the company computers to your Gmail account, we can do it that way. But it would work better if I was there with you and we do it face-to-face. Just go to my Calendly link. It's in every email I ever sent to you. And sign up for an appointment with me. I'm happy to do that with you. It's not an imposition. It's something that I'm happy to do to help you get through this. But I really want you to be able to know with confidence that you're getting emails that are being sent to you, and you're seeing the important ones. I know it's a kind of a sore spot with Julie that a lot of times people don't respond to emails, and I think it's the reason because how am I going to find it in here? Look at this mess. And I don't have time to fool around with it. Let's clean up the inbox. Let's use the labels. Let's get things organized so that it makes it so much easier for you. You'll get a lot of time in your life back, too, by the way, and a little more confidence that you're not missing something. I mean, the example I put in that email when she said, oh, everybody hits me up. She said, I asked her how she replied that her email had become on further question. He said her clients know to call or text her if they want to communicate with her. Yeah, fine, but what about the people that saw your advertisements or clicked on your email address and a listing they saw on Realtor.com or something, and it comes as an email to you, and you didn't respond? I mean, are there ones like that in your inbox right now? It's possible. So we don't want that to happen. And so I really think that this kind of stuff is kind of boring work. It'd probably take you about an hour to go through all this and set up all the filters you want to set up, but it'll be worth it in the long haul. And I'm absolutely willing to sit there and do this with you. So we're just about out of time, so let's just take some questions if there are any. Just unmute yourself and go for it. And otherwise, I'll let you go. Okay, wow. Jerry, you did a great job. I completely understand this stuff now. I don't have any questions at all. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much. And I will look forward to spending some one-on-one time with you. And let me see here. I can stop the recording now.